right. Anyways, just to give you a little bit of background, I know most all of you are new. This industry that you're in, the retail mailing and shipping industry, started in the late 70s and early 80s. Before that, UPS had a program called Commercial Counter, where a dry cleaner, hardware store, anybody could be take and accept packages for retail shipping. There was no rules or regulation. It was kind of like the Wild Wild West. A company called Mailbox, etc., was formed in the early 80s by a guy named John Amos. He came up with a format for a replicatable format for this type of business that would work nationwide. Mailbox, etc., grew quickly. In fact, I had considered going with their franchise in 1990, but decided against it and did what you guys did, which was open up my own. And the key services offered, of course, was shipping and packing back then. It was not unusual for my stores back then to ship 150 to 200 packages a day, and those were all paid for revenue packages. Well, the world changed, unfortunately, and the carriers started giving accounts to just anybody who could basically spell their last name and fog a mirror. So what that meant was it cut down on the amount of revenue packages we got and turned them into drop-offs. At the beginning, none of the carriers paid for the drop-offs, but after loud complaint from the industry, they finally decided to start compensating. So that's why you get revenue for your drop-off packages. So a key component to the mailboxes, etc. format was mailbox rental. So this system of mailbox renting had actually been alive for over 125 years. There were many private mailbox companies at that time. In fact, there's businesses in like Beverly Hills, California, where they have nothing but mailboxes. There's no shipping, there's no notary, there's nothing, just mailbox rental only. And they've got thousands and thousands of mailbox rentals. Anyways, so this is not a new industry. The smart mailboxes, when they were introduced, were basically for parcels and apartments. My idea was to, one, cut the price way down. I'm sure Donna can tell you she's looked into the price of those from the big guys like TZ and Luxor. And then what we're selling them for is a mere pittance for what those guys are offering. And we decided to then try to start tailoring our software specifically for this type of industry. So that's what we're doing. As you know, the software is capable of handling this. We are continuing to work on improving it. We are doing it. You probably don't notice it, but things get updated automatically by us. And things have been repaired. As an example, the support ticket system we've figured out was going to a person's email address who is no longer with us. So we fixed that and distributed that to all of you. So now if you need support and you click on the support button, it'll send a ticket to our staff, what I call the bullpen, where the support people sit. Smart mailboxes can be used to totally replace the traditional security or cell-bearing mailboxes, or as you guys are most likely doing it, augmenting the old system. The old way. Now, this is kind of interesting because the marketing of the old mailboxes kind of bleeds over to the new. I tried to separate them, but you'll see that there's a lot of bleed over into how one's marketed, and it'll work with the other. But anyways, the old way, historic customers come in, rent mailboxes for an initial period, usually 3, 6, 12 months. very rarely longer than that, and you should never probably do shorter than that, because as you be in this business for a while, you'll see a lot of the people disappear after 3 months, and then you're stuck with their mail for a while. Why rent a mailbox? One of the biggest reasons is that the post office, a lot of them have waiting lists for their mailboxes. You can also easily sell against that, because you're free to take faxes, next day air UPSs, and other type of packages other than USPS. Business operated from home, that's another main venue of people who would use mailbox services, including smart mailboxes. There's a lot of places can't have UPS driving up there 20 times a day, trucks going in and out. They're in a residential area, so they rent a mailbox. That's probably the biggest source of renters. Out-of-town sales reps. The unfortunate thing about being a new store is it can take a while for people to figure out you're there. Eventually, the IBM rep may figure that out and have stuff sent to you, or come in and rent a mailbox. At my store, one of the biggest clients that we have is Thomas Crouppen Elevator Company. So we get elevator parts in all the time for the repair guy who just literally goes from town to town fixing elevators. Scammers, unfortunately, if you're going to be in business for a while, somebody's going to come in that's running a scam. You got to learn how to identify it, and then what action you should take once you do figure out that there's a scammer there. A good indication of their being scammed is they start getting a lot of checks in, and they have different name companies. So just keep your eyes open and be aware. Lonely hearts. You get people that come in and rent mailboxes because they don't want their spouse to find out that they got a girlfriend or some other method, something else. So, and the last thing is mail forwarders. There's people who just want an address in your town, and you'll never see them. They set up by emailing you a notarized 1583, and they just automatically have you forward their mail maybe once or twice a week or whatever their frequency is. So those are the main people that would rent mailboxes with traditional mailboxes considered. The most important thing is, including with your smart mailboxes, is to write I'm not going to call it a good contract, write a great contract. You have to anticipate all of the dumbass things that people will want to do for renting mailboxes with you. They'll want to have 25 different company names. They'll have their whole clan on there. And you've got to have an agreement that addresses those issues. My feelings are they can have as many names on there as they want as long as they're willing to pay. So, and unfortunately, I can tell you there's a lot of stores out there that allow somebody to come in, rent a mailbox, and next thing you know, you're getting mail for their kids and their 25 DBAs, etc. And you got to have a good contract to allow you to charge for that. So what I do at my store, and I recommend, charge by the number of names they put on there. So if they want to have a bunch of names, they pay extra. Have one name and one company as a standard format at this price, whatever your price is, and then have a additional price for any additional names that they want to put on there. Create a logical pricing scheme. That basically would tell me to have you charge one fee for a personal box. Somebody's use it for home and their kids, etc. And then another scheme for small businesses, and maybe a larger one for large corporations who are just looking for a presence in your town. Once you have that scheme set up, stick to it. Don't change it because it'll make it very confusing for you when it comes time for renewal. This is one of the most important points. Limit the amount of packages they can receive. I'm telling you right now, if you don't have that in your contract, the day after some guy comes in and rents a mailbox, R&L carrier is going to show up with a pallet with 600 boxes. And that's happened before. And there are people who point out to them it's not in their contract that they charge by the number of packages. So have a provision in there to limit the amount of packages you're willing to receive by the week, and the limit of weight on each package. So have a scale to add money if they got more than, let's say, 1 or 2 packages a week. And also, if they're over 10 pounds, have a scale to charge them by 10-pound increments, as an example. So don't let them get away with sending a 150-pound Peloton treadmill to you and trying to fit it in the mailbox. I can tell you that my contract says we do not accept junk mail. So when they start getting the Uline catalog, that goes right in the garbage. Okay, I'll say that we recycle it, just so anybody that's environmentalist doesn't get mad at me. All right. You'll cut down on the amount of mail that you have to put in the box by 50, 60, 70% the longer that they're there. The longer they're there, the more junk mail you're going to get for that person. In the old days, somebody's rents for 3 months, it comes up again, and you let them re-rent again for 3 more months. An easier way to do this, especially when you start getting larger numbers, and remember, this is a slow roll. You're not going to get 100 people signing up the first month that you open your doors. You're going to get 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 a month, and later it'll start building up. Once you do that and their boxes start to expire, it becomes an administrative nightmare to handle them and figure out who you got to bill, unless you have a good system to do what I call automatically bill them at the end of their period. So set it up so that at the end of their 3 months, they convert to month, and your system just runs their credit card automatically at the end of the month. Most credit card systems have a way for you to set that up. When that happens, and trust me, at the beginning, it's not going to seem like a big deal. Get it going early, because once you start getting a regular amount of mailbox people in there, being able to bill them without having to worry about them or coming in at the end of the month and spending it 2 or 3 hours figuring out who owes you money, is the time you'll appreciate it. You will really appreciate an automatic billing system once you got it going. Make sure you have a charge in there for not picking up their mail regularly. What's going to happen is you invariably are going to get somebody whose mailbox is going to fill up real quick and overflow, and you're going to be setting it in rubber banded bundles below that. Have a charge for that. An overfill charge or a storage fee. But come up with something that works in your store and makes sense. I already covered charge for too many packages. Charge for 24-hour access. You have some mailboxes inside your store, and you got the smart mailboxes outside or in an area. Now, I know there's probably 1 or 2 of you that don't have 24-hour access, but for those of you that do, make sure you're charging extra for that, especially if they're picking up packages. I mentioned that if the post office is rented out, you should have no problem renting boxes in your area. But also, you should charge more if the post office is rented out. So that means they literally have nowhere else to go unless you got a lot of competition in your area. Another thing is to sign up with virtual mailbox companies. I don't know, Donna, is that something that you have your folks do? Yes, okay. All right, there's a couple of good ones out there, but for sure it makes it a lot easier for you, and it gets you clients without having to do a whole lot of work. Okay, so now we'll switch over to talking specifically about the smart mailboxes. So anyways, this, like I indicated, we took what had really been the province of apartment mailbox systems, smart mailboxes, smart lockers, and we've adapted it for the retail mailing and shipping store mailbox services. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see traditional mailboxes with a bank of smart lockers sitting right beside it. Again, you can run it in a hybrid situation where you're using the lockers for packages and 24-hour access, and then the mail, the smaller boxes for the mailboxes. All right, why smart mailboxes? So, and again, this is one of the benefits, and I know you guys got smaller mailboxes, but this presentation was geared for giving out all reasons why we have smart mailboxes. But a cabinet of 24 doors will easily replace 72 traditional mailbox doors. And the reason for that is the customer no longer gets a mailbox assigned to them, a numbered mailbox. What happens is they only get a mailbox when there's actually mail for them. So during the course of the day when you're sorting mail, let's say you've got 20 mailboxes rented out, you probably won't get more than 3 or 4 customers worth of mail each day. And those other mailboxes just remain empty during that time. So the smart mailbox system doesn't assign a mailbox to them, and therefore they don't get any space allocated out there for the smart mailboxes. Weather resistant, I also put in parentheses, not weatherproof. I want to point out to you that if you're outside, it's got to have some coverage over it. Okay? It can't sit out there in the rain, totally exposed and getting drenched all the time, especially the upper parts of the cabinet. The lower parts of the cabinet are less critical. The one out in front of my store, which I'll show you in a little while, that one there is out. It has it's a typical plaza that has an awning, a little bit of an awning over it. So I didn't have to make one and put over it. But I can tell you that during the wintertime, snow blows up against it and we shovel around it and it's fine. But if the top part of the cabinet where the electronics are is getting drenched, and we've had some experience with 1 or 2 places like that, then you're eventually just going to have something short out, and then it'll have to be replaced. So make sure that it's relatively covered. If you have a tornado or something, really severe weather coming to your area, put some polyethylene plastic around it, all right, or a tarp over the top of it. But please don't get it exposed to a severe weather. And try not to have it out in the direct sunlight because it's metal. It's going to get hot. The customers are going to come up and it's going to be hot for them to touch it. So try to keep it in an area where it's at least shaded, especially any Arizona stores. One of the reasons why our cost is way down, about half price of what the other guys are, is because we simplified the electronics and we simplified the software. So we have it doing the bare basics necessary to run this type of business. Now, in all fairness, we are improving it every day and working on making it better. And you'll see those changes pop up on your system. The Mailboxes are easy to train. It's not hard. It can be done very quickly. This eliminates the need for the customer to come up to the counter and stand in line to get a parcel. It eliminates the need to sort inbound mail and parcel if you're using it for mail exclusively. Now, I notice you guys already have smaller mailboxes, so you'll just have to work that in conjunction with the system for the smaller mailboxes. The cloud dashboard puts the control at your fingertips from any Windows PC, at home, when you're on the road, anywhere. So the cloud dashboard saves the history of every customer. It saves the history of every door. The touchscreen controller that you slide out speeds up loading. Again, the cabinets are weatherized. They can get wet, but not drenched or immersed. You can use outdoors from that temperature range there, and they were designed for 24-hour use. The smart mailbox system consists of basically three simple components: the cabinet itself with the electronics, our package valet software, which is on board control behind the controller door, and then also, of course, the cloud dashboard. Now, most all of you had experience with this stuff already. Those of you that are going to open the store, you just need to know that there's three separate systems. The operational overview is simple. You receive mail or parcels from the carrier. You open the control door on mailbox cabinet. Usually it's door 21. Some of you are different. It may be on the left side, but whatever it is, it shows the number on the diagram, and you can open it from the cloud dashboard just by clicking on the image of that door and then clicking open, and it'll pop open. So once you load the mail into the smart mailboxes, you close the door. Now, once you close the door, a 3-minute timer starts. After 3 minutes, the email goes out to the customer with a QR code. I've got a copy of what the email looks like in a few slides down here. The customer gets the QR code in the email. They come in, they scan it on the scanner, the door pops open, and they pick up their parcels. And then the system will then flag that door is empty and available. Cloud dashboard. To get there, you just open up your browsers. You go to mailboxes.shiprite.net. You put in your user ID and password, and you click login. By the time you get to this point, we'll have already set it up for you. We'll call in, set up, and teach you how to link your cloud dashboard to the smart mailbox. You'll be given a startup user ID and password, and then anytime you want to change the password, you just click forgot password. Over on the left, the consignee manager, it shows the consignee list. The window pops up. These are the customers that are authorized to receive packages. You can see them on the list, and all fields are editable. So you just click on it, and away you go. You can click on any of the attributes: the phone number, the email, their name, and then type in a replacement for it, and then click replace. Database settings. If you have a list of mailboxes you want to import, that you would do it into here under database settings. So it takes just a .csv file with the company name and all that good stuff, and then it'll import it into the Cloud SQL Server database. Upload listings, and again, that was the CSV file I was talking about. You most all have probably seen this. This is our WYSIWYG mailbox diagram. WYSIWYG just simply stands for what you see is what you got. It shows what boxes are loaded, which ones are available, and it shows a logical plot of your mailbox setup. So in this instance here, this customer has 3 banks of mailboxes, and the leftmost one being the controller. You don't have to have it that way. You can put the controller in the middle or on the right side. It doesn't matter to us, but you should always make sure that they're line of sight so that when the door pops open, you can actually see it pop open and not around the corner where you didn't hear it click and you don't know enough to look around the corner to see if any door popped open. All right. I'm just talking about the support. You fill in your phone number, name of your business, what level of priority it is. Just a question. You're asking about how to do this or that. I would consider that routine or normal. If you had an issue where the system was broke or down, then I would select priority. Actually, there's a choice called emergency. So I would go after emergency. And then you type in the problem and hit submit the ticket. Loading your mailboxes. After you get it from the carrier, you go to your cloud dashboard and pop open your controller door. Usually number 21, but it could be different if your system was set up with the controller doors on the right. Once you do that, you hit load, and then over on the bottom right, you key in the code to get you in, which is 1312. All right. And then you hit the caret pointing to the right, which is essentially the enter button. Then you hit mailbox number or name, and mailbox number is the fastest way to do it. So you would enter the mailbox number and then press the right caret to continue. You will then be prompted to scan the code on the item. This is the barcode. It tells the carrier, or it tells who the carrier is in the email. So it auto populates who the carrier is, provides a link for that person to go ahead and post the package to the next one. So what happens is once you scan it, all right, it pops up, and then the next window asking for a size will be selected, and you select the size. Once you get the package into the door, you just close it, and the email is sent out electronically, and there's no further work for you to do. If the item didn't fit, there's a last item did not fit button. I am aware that it didn't work for a while. I believe now it's been fixed and working fine. So if you haven't tested it in a while, you can go ahead and do so. But what it does is, if the package, let's say there's you select that, you get that message, the last item didn't fit, you close the door and select a new size, the next size up, and then the next size up door is going to pop open. All right? And that's when you click last item did not fit. Over on the left, where it says good news, your package is ready, gives them a QR code. There's also a human readable code in there that they can plug in. We're aware that the human readable code wasn't working a couple weeks ago, but it should be all set right now. Once they're ready to open the box, the customer merely takes their cell phone, scans it, and then whatever door that they've got their package behind is going to pop open. And this lady's going to demonstrate for me. So she's getting up her email, she scans it, door pops open, she grabs her stuff. All right, we'll talk more about this email in a minute because we need to talk about where to get these customers from. The quick answer is you're going to get it from the same place as traditional mailboxes. That's part of your, I'm sure, marketing training. And back in slide 4, we covered that. Now what we want to do with all the, what we want to do now is on how to get additional clients for your smart mailboxes. We need to start thinking outside the box, all right, or outside the locker. There are lots of clients who can find a need for your smart mailbox service. This is really important because the traditional mailbox rental, which you folks have there, gets one type of marketing, and the smart mailboxes are going to get another. So if you're going to do things like run an ad in your local paper, don't go crazy. And again, like if you're in Minnesota, Minneapolis, don't take out a mail or an ad in a newspaper that covers all 5, counties and boroughs, because you'll just be wasting that money. Get business cards made and go visit businesses in your area that can use late customer pickups. All right. Example, pharmacies. If you're in a plaza with a pharmacy, go talk with the druggist over there, the head druggist, and tell them what you got. Tell them that you got a service where a customer can come in late and pick up packages or drugs. And guess what? They do that all the time. They, at least 10 times a day, they're going to get calls from customers saying, I can't make it in until 8 o'clock. What time's the pharmacy closed? Well, the pharmacy's closed at 7. I have a Price Chopper shopping plaza right across the street from my store, and they send over stuff all the time. And we charge $5 just for them to come over and pop the door open and take a package out. You can get away with more if you're in an area where there's no such service like that. So you got to read your market. That's part of the training, I'm sure, that you guys can get from Donna. Auto parts. That's another one. You're out in the garage working on your car. It's 5 minutes to 8. They close at 8. You call in, they got the part. Well, drop it off over at your place. One of the things that we've done is we've got regular customers. We actually give them the code to open up the locker, and they can load their own packages. So you can do that because you can have a list of users with unique codes. Hardware stores, again, same thing. They got a customer who says they can't make it until 7 or 8. They come over and give you the parts, put it in there. And if you keep their credit card on file, you can automatically run their credit card file in the software by clicking on Use Card on File. And that would handle their pickup fee. Printers. That lady that you saw picking up those documents from outside my store there, she had us print some menus, and that's what those were. But she wasn't going to be able to make it down until Sunday because she's running the restaurant. So we sent her an email with the QR code, charged her the $5, and she gladly paid it. So there's ways for you to make money on these things if you think outside the box. Other ways, these work really well for people who are really concerned about porch pirates. Especially if you're in an area that's transient. If you're in an area that's transient, you'll rent mailboxes all day long and half the night. So, that the advertising to catch people who are afraid of porch pirates is a good way to go after them. Again, offer after hours pickup for your regular printing customers. Ones that come to your own shop that want to do pickups. And again, always keep your eye out for repair vendors from out of town because they're going to have parts and boxes and stuff sent. Those smart mailboxes are perfect for that type of activity. Here's the biggie: attorneys. Okay, you can make a lot of money off of attorneys, especially if there's a concentration of them in your area. Just think about it: small law firms, which there are a lot more of than the big ones. These small law firms only have one, maybe two lawyers, and they may not have a legal clerk. They may have a clerk, but the attorneys are out in court making filings, running errands, or in most cases playing golf on Thursdays. The nice thing about it is you can promote a package valet service with them where they drop off papers, you load them in the locker, the customer comes in, signs them, puts them back in the same box, closes the door, and the next day the attorney comes pick it up. And you get $5 out and $5 in. You get a two-way on that one. They're always having clients who can't make it in on time, and they can use a late pickup. And I've got 5 attorneys that regularly use us, and maybe double that have come in, and I've never seen them before. So, additional marketing tips. Attorneys, again, like I said, they do a lot of shipping. So there's ancillary services that you can advertise with them, get them to come back into your shop and spend money. Let me give you an example. They need they need notary stamps, all right? Paid stamps, postage stamps. They need all kinds of stamps. They need evidentiary displays made. If you got a photo zoomer, you can make evidence displays for them. And the big one where we make a lot of money on is when parents pass away or move to a nursing home, their kids come in from out of town and have stuff shipped back to them, estates. Find the attorneys that specialize in estates. Anyways, I had to mention that, even though that has nothing to do with mailboxes, because it's still part of the effort of going after attorneys. Like I said, they've got a lot of money to spend, and the convenience is worth it more to them than trying to save a nickel by doing things themselves. All right, so there we go. Oh, I went backwards. Okay, what type of advertising works? I've got 34 years of experience with this. Donna could probably tell you the same thing. Local publications usually work pretty good. So if you have a local penny saver or a neighborhood paper or something like that, daily, weekly, or monthly, those are good areas to advertise. If you have a vehicle, make sure you got signage on the vehicle. That's free advertising every time you drive around or park it by the road. Outside lockers, visible to traffic. I've seen a couple of your locker installations, and they look very nice. I personally went down and saw Mitch's, and his are very close to the road. Unfortunately, they also get very dusty from that, but it's very visible and it's good advertising. Window displays. If you have larger windows and you got space, use it to put ads in there and rotate the ads. Don't keep the same stuff in your window for years at a time. Rotate them at the very worst. Rotate them on a monthly basis. I would recommend more frequently, like weekly, because what happens is, if you go into a place where the smell is bad, your nose eventually becomes nose blind. Well, people become sight blind too when they come to your store. They don't look at anything, but if their windows are always changing, they're going to notice it. Personal selling, I can't stress this enough. Go around, to the other businesses in your area and tell them who you are. Tell them what you do. Have a nice flyer made up. You've got printing assets now. So make yourself some good brochures and go out and personally hand them out. If you're in a residential area, pay some kids to go out and do door hangers. Door hangers are very effective, especially in your area. Let me tell you what does not work in our business and never has. Radio. Radio is not going to work. TV. TV is not going to work. The only time they work is if they run a story on your business. But the problem with that is they expect you to start advertising immediately after that. So that's the bad part of letting them run a story on you. Wide area newspapers. Like I said, if you're in Chicago, Chicago Tribune's not going to do the job for you. It's too big of a brush to focus. You need to focus like a laser beam on the advertising in your area that works. Valpak coupons. I don't remember anybody ever saying these things ever worked. So I've done them before. It's tempting to do them. They just simply don't work. Billboards. Again, billboards is not a good use of your advertising dollars. If you're running a car dealership or a furniture store, yes. For a retail mailing and shipping store, no. Billboards are not working. And keep away from other gimmicks. So anybody that's got a gimmick like sharing a billboard or any other type of a gimmick, just let it pass. Protect your advertising dollars. Here's the big secret on paying for advertising. You know, and you have to know, and I'm telling you, half the money that you spend on advertising is going to be just like burning the money. In fact, it'd probably be more fun to burn the money. The problem that you have is you don't know which half is the waste. So you got to advertise the full dollar on these venues. After you've been in business for a while and you run an ad in the Penny Saver as an example and you get a response, you'll say, hey, this works, and you'll start advertising more. So you have to be really smart about protecting your advertising dollars, but the unfortunate thing is you got to spend it. Now, a good rule of thumb that all us college-educated boys learned in Marketing 101 was thank that guy for distracting me. Once you spend the money, focus like a laser beam on what is working and spend more money on that. And then now I remember what I was going to say. A good rule of thumb that we all learned is 7 to 8% of your gross revenue should go to marketing at the very beginning. Once you start getting effective in it, you can cut back on it some. But the double-edged sword of marketing dollars is you got to spend that money up front. You have to do it. And I think that's the end of it. Thank you for your time, Donna. Do you want to hop on board and let's take questions maybe?
Yes. Anybody, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a little hand. If you want to ask a question, please do. We'll take a couple of questions here. Steve, you got a question?
Well, I was going to ask one about, do you recommend marketing like, say, apartments?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
How close, Steve, how close are the apartments to you?
We have several in the area, within a half mile.
I would go after them immediately. Yeah, absolutely.
So you just do a flyer situation on that one?
Yeah. Yes. Pay some kid to go and pass them out under the doors of the apartments. Make sure you instruct them not to put them in mailboxes. If they put them in mailboxes, you'll be getting a nasty letter from the postmaster.
Gotcha.
So hang them on doors, or slide them under the doors, or put them in between the door and the storm door. But
And
absolutely go after those apartments.
and
Those
one other
Reddit,
thing, yeah, one other
yeah,
thing
go
that you did bring up that I liked, and we had actually brainstormed and thought about this, was the one time, hey, you got a package, you can send it to us. We'll put it out there $5 one time. I'm just not sure how to approach that. It's a great concept because I think you'll get more traction, especially, but I'm just not quite sure how to grab that.
When you say grab that, Steve, are you talking about how to advertise for those people,
Yeah,
or?
how to get people to know about it. Yeah.
All right. As I said, it's very tough at the beginning because you don't have a brand built yet. You've got to build your brand. Okay. You have to make your brand built so strongly that people walk in there before they would go to a UPS store. All right. Once you do that, and listen, at the very beginning, those customers that walk through your door right now at the beginning stage, that customer costs you about $30 or $40 to come in the door. So don't let them walk out without a flyer. Put a flyer in their hands.
Right.
Do something, but cross sell. The customer display monitor on your POS system. Have it running ads when they're not actively involved in a sale, so that when they walk up, they see that you have something on sale, maybe 3-cent Thursdays for copies or something like that. So giving away copies is a good loss leader because it's not that expensive for you, and it shows people what you do. I can't tell you how many times when I first started, people would walk in the door and walk past 2 copiers and say, "Do you make copiers here?" Well, that's the way it goes. But uh, uh, giving away a premium is good, but don't give away, uh, services on a long-term basis. Do what you said. Let them have one free Porch Pirate box, sent to you. They run an ad, say, uh, use us. We have a special, one free Porch Pirate acceptance. Then come and get your package and let them see how it works. And trust me, if it's a good experience for them, they like walking up there, scanning their phone, and the door pops open, they're going to tell somebody else. That's where you're going to start cutting down that $30 or $40 per customer cost that you have for getting them to come in. So by the end of the first year, your cost per customer should have dropped way down by half, down to about $10 to $15. And then after you've been in business for 2 or 3 years, then all of a sudden you're going to start making money easier. And like I said, I can't tell you how it's going to, when you open up your store, you got a break-even point that you got to work for. So that includes with the smart lockers, the smart mailboxes. It's at the beginning, you're going to see them sitting there and you're going to think, oh my, I'm not making any money. Well, yeah, that's true. You're not making money on anything. So go ahead and start marketing it. And like I said, the biggest thing is get out there with some business cards, visit all the businesses in your area. Some of them will just look at you and say, yeah, okay, and take your card and that's it. But others will engage with you and talk. And you know what? They're going to go and also say that to another business that they own, hey, this guy came in, yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, it gets around. Join your local chamber of commerce. Go do when you first join, they usually have some sort of an introductory thing where they'll put on a big thing where they bring politicians to your store and everything else and promote. I'm going to tell you, the squeaky door gets the oil. That's the way it works. So if you just throw your doors open and say, where is everybody? You're probably going to be gone in a year.
So, hey, so Mark, the one I liked the best was the pharmacy. There's so many opportunities there when people just don't they don't want to sit in line and wait for their medication. Two, there's people that actually will go pick it up for them and be able to take it to the lockers and actually put it in the lockers for them so they can pick it up later because they're always running late. Pharmacy seems like a huge opportunity, especially for the electronic lockers. So, hey, Winston's got a question. Winston, take your off mute and
Yeah, so about that, so do we charge pay per use for the locker, or is it
Abs-
gonna be a subscription?
Absolutely. Don't do anything free in your store. Okay.
So let's say if they want to do per use, pay per use, the one storage is $5 or $10, and do we need to offer contract for that too?
You do not need a contract. You should have a sign-up sheet where they sign up and they put their credit card down, and you log them into your system under your point of sale, and you trap their credit card, and then every time that they use it, you just automatically run their card.
Okay, all right, cool, thank you.
Yep.
I have a little follow up to that. I apologize. A little follow up to that. So can't we just put them in as a consignee and they're in the system? Doesn't and we're just doing a one time use. Doesn't mean we have to. They're in there. So if they call you up and say, "Hey, Steve, I'm going to have something dropped off," you just all right, drop it. They're in there. You charge them the $5. You throw it in the locker. You don't ever take them out of the consignee part, right? I wouldn't.
No, I mean, you don't have to. Sure. Remember, it's your store. You can come up with any procedure that you want for
Well, I was just
controlling.
wondering if that would be a good way to go.
Sounds like it is to me. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why you would have to. I mean, you'd have them in your point of sale, of course, but if you have them in as your kind of consignee, all you have to do is call your, "Hey, Steve, one's coming. No
There you
problem.
go.
Charge $5 and you're on."
Yep.
so
Absolutely.
so Mark, what's a general price range for these mailboxes? Just range. I know it's going to be all across the board differently, but
Well, you have a scale for the small mailboxes, right?
Yep.
The old ones. I would, and if you see, and I don't remember, I don't know your pricing scheme, Donna, so I can't really tell you how you work it. But you don't run the smart mailboxes separate. You use that as a package only augmentation, right? So therefore, what I was talking about having a great contract, you put in there that when they get any item that is too big for their little traditional mailbox, it's going to go into the smart mailbox, and here's the charge for that. For let's say a UPS next day air letter, maybe $3, or a simple envelope like that. A small packet, just a padded pack, it's a very simple one, maybe $3. Now you get into parcels, you start going up. $5 for a small parcel, let's say up to $10. And then anything that goes into the big lockers that are the big doors, the ones that are on the bottom, maybe $10. So, and again, you got to know what works in your area. All of you should be very familiar with the competitive situation around your store. Do you have a UPS store across the street from you? Do you have another independent across the street from you? Are you the only one that offers the 24-hour parcel pickup? Hey, now you got a major selling point over the other guys. All right. So all of these things you have to go out and exploit. It's up to you to do that.
and so just I was going to just add something. It's a little bit different, but I was going to add on to the fact that when you're getting ready to advertise for these things, think about the time of year because he talked about porch pirating. It's going to be huge for you around Christmas time. People are trying to buy their Christmas gifts. You want to send out some advertisement to get them in there to want to send those packages to you for their Christmas gifts. So the timing is going to be huge for this as well, depending on the special holiday.
Yeah, and of course you. And again, you gear your advertising up toward those special seasons too. So.
Yep.
Um,
Winston,
and-
did you
and-
have another question? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, change your advertising too. There's nothing that I think is kind of ridiculous as when people have the same ad that they had 5 years ago and it's gathering dust. So change, update, modernize, and get your message across.
Gotcha. Winston, do you have a question? I'm sorry, your hand's up still. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions on the electronic mailboxes? Well, I think you got them all, Mark.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, I hope this was helpful for you. It's going to be important how you guys sell these things. What Mark said about getting out into the community, into your businesses. I mean, I wish I could put these things in my store because I sell the hell out of them. But good luck to you with that. Mark, thank you very much for everything you did today. I really appreciate this time. And if nobody has any questions, I guess we're done. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.